Is Jalen Suggs a hooper?
Check the film.
The guy can score on all 3 levels.
Athletic, fast, no one could really stop him.
To be honest, football is my first love for real.
He could have played either sport.
His arm and his speed is out this world.
Everybody thought he was going to choose football.
I couldn't imagine having to choose between 2 things I love.
I wanted to put Minnesota on the map.
Look what he's doing right now. You know what I mean? He's going crazy in the NBA.
The Orlando Magic select Jalen Suggs.
Yo, Jalen Suggs!
What's up, bro?
Can I get a picture, bro?
Yeah, come on real quick. Walk with me. Right, what's up? Yes, sir.
I know he's cousin.
How you been?
Good, you sure?
Good, yeah, you too? Good.
Yeah, it's good. Whole family's down there in Orlando.
So you moved him out there?
Yeah.
That's what's up. Hey, I know it's a dream gang. I know that's
hell yeah.
He's an NBA player.
Where I went to my old elementary schools right now, a spot where I used to come all the time after school, come play on the park, come hoop at these 2 hoops right here, play wall ball, you know, whatever it was. I got my dad working the kid out right now, you know, something that he's always doing, helping kids get better, you know, exactly what he did with me.
Let's take over the basket. Bam, take off.
I know it makes him happy, it makes me happy. If we can all eat, then why not, you know, share the wealth, kind of just what we're all about.
You can't talk about Minnesota basketball without saying Suggs. Literally put Minnesota on the map when it comes to basketball, period.
Talk about New York, talk about Cali, talk about Texas, but I mean, we just put out 2 top 5 draft picks in the last 2 years.
Just a rich history of basketball. Cole Aldridge, Trey and Tyus Jones, Gary Trent, and it was me, and then Chet.
When you play video games, you normally make a Chet Holmgren. You make somebody that's 7'1", handles, shoots the ball, high IQ, dunking on everybody.
My dad saw the potential in him and stuck with him, and I mean, look where he's at now.
Chet looked me in the eye and he said, no, I really want to be a good basketball player.
Jalen Suggs, he can do pretty much anything you want him to do.
You're rocking and rolling on the men's side, and you know, you go get Paige Bueckers.
Like, I feel like we're all generational players, so to grow up in the same spot during the same time, it's really crazy.
What Paige has done for women's basketball is incredible.
She was able to take that Minnesota basketball and take it to the next level. And now she's one of the most recognizable young ladies across the country.
Just one of the coldest hoopers I've ever seen.
And Jalen was super good at a young age. Chet was on that team. Them having the great chemistry that they've had, and they've grown it since like elementary school. And just being around them and continuing to watch them was really great for my game as well.
All of us together kind of at one time and being able to go support each other. We went to her game, she came to ours.
So I'm hoping that me, Jalen, Chet, put Minnesota on the map for basketball.
You know, it's crazy that the same little AU program, the same Minnesota, you know, where we started practicing in 3rd grade together. In back-to-back drafts, we put back-to-back top 5 picks.
I think he was like in the 7th or 8th grade, like he was starting to get the national recognition, and mine sort of came later. But once we both got it, it was both a topic that we talked about and just how crazy people will love you just because you play the game of basketball.
I think the best part was the YouTube when that came about.
Social media, hoop mixtape, and YouTube highlights.
And then as I kind of got there, overtime kind of took over, and they were always at the game, whether it was dudes with cameras, whether it was dudes on their phones.
But I think it was really crazy how fast it happened.
The clips were always being filmed.
Like all I see are high school highlights, high school posts.
And they were always getting instantly sent out.
I was so shocked because he was only in high school.
I remember fiending for the blue check to get verified.
Blue check.
Blue check. Blue check.
From then on, you just kind of blow and explode.
I've seen players like LeBron, like KD, Kyrie, like all those people have a blue check. My brother has one.
We both were just like, dang, like there's a K next to our name.
Each 10K was crazy. Like getting to 20K was OD. Getting to 50 was like, dang, like I'm popping now.
100,000 people follow us, 300,000 people follow us.
And I remember the first time I had to turn off my Instagram notifications just because I was getting too much.
So now he has his blue check. What does it mean? I don't even know if a lot of us even know what it means, but you got a blue check.
So when he got his blue check, he still had to take the garbage out. He still had to get good grades.
You still got to grind, you still have to work.
Because you don't make it until you're in the NBA.
We moved in here 5th grade, 6th grade. I haven't been here since I left for school. Back at the crib, you shot here before. Still got my TV and all that. Still got my iconic printer. Yeah, my first room was an office. Really only had room for the bed. But yeah, this is where I was at. You know, that's not in here anymore, but was the first hoop. You know, I got my first bucket on, my little Tykes hoop. Started me on this journey, on this path to where I am now, chasing the dreams that I had when I was a little kid playing on these hoops, where I can take care of my family, come back and show love, and you know, be an inspiration for people. You know, don't come from much, or you know, just come from Minnesota.
This is where I used to beat the brakes off of you in one-on-one.
Beat anything.
Are you kidding me?
The hoop that's in the driveway has been there since I was born. It's gone to hell and back for real.
Sometimes we had a rule on there, no dunking and hanging. I mean, I only paid like $125 for the hoop, and we've had it for over 20 plus years.
A lot of my early memories are definitely tied in with basketball. One of my favorite things to do is tell people to stand right in front of the hoop so I could check some, and I'd back up, run full speed, and try to go dunk on them.
But he set everybody up, just dunk on people. Like I caught DeRozan. So when he went up for the DeRozan dunk, I knew he was going to take off because I've taught him how to jump.
On my way to the gym, about to get a quick workout in. I spent countless hours there this summer improving my game. It's become like my second home. Year one was definitely a learning experience. I learned so much about my body, about how to perform at a high level. You know, all that I'm taking into account. And the work I'm putting in this summer helped me get ready for year two.
I work out at least 5 days a week, but I always get a bunch of reps up, a bunch of shots. Some days we'll do more ball handling, some days we'll do more finishing. Some days it'll be more of a conditioning day. I've probably been in as many workouts as I have been days of school, even more probably.
So you basically bulldogged them, backed up and hit them with the bulldog.
Yeah. Larry's my pops, my road dog, my best friend. Went to college at Valley City, had a couple opportunities to go to the league, but you know, he ended up having me and he poured all his love and skill into me.
Good, 15 feet, nice.
So Larry had a vision. He wanted him to play basketball.
Ended up finding out that it was gonna be a boy. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna have a little hooper.
At that point in time, he was staying home with Jalen and I was working. So he was home with Jalen 24/7.
I'll see it one more time.
Growing up, it was really just me and my dad in the driveway, me and my dad at Minnehaha. Thinking back on that, it just kind of humbles you, brings you back to your roots. You know, you don't need a whole lot to get better in this game.
So this is the one that Kobe and Mike use a lot.
He's always been around, and we've never had a father-son relationship. We've never had a coach-player relationship. It's always like a best friend relationship, and that's why we can mess around with each other. That's why we can argue with each other, and know we'll be cool the same way I do with all my homeboys.
I'm not looking at that.
You gonna look at all this buffness? Oh. This is dad body, man, bought and paid for.
My dad is really important to me. He's my biggest inspiration. He's the person I strive to be like every day. I love him to death, and I don't know what I'd do without him.
All right, I love you. Once we hit the AAU circuit, that's when it really got to almost like an all-time high because the expectations was, here comes this little skinny 7th grader. What could you really do?
We had a really good team that year. Actually, one of my favorite AAU teams of all time that I played on. That's when it really turned up. My time coming into Under Armour was at its peak pretty much. We were grassroots sizzle, and my pops was coaching. We were new, we were brand new, so everybody looked at us. We didn't have the best team, we didn't have the best recruits, but we always played with a real fearless, dog mentality. Get up 15, get up 20, keep this bitch rolling, man. Let's go.
Then we had this kid named Chet. Became somebody that everybody in the circuit knew about.
All the kids really wanted to do was play basketball. And as they got older, getting scholarship offers. That's why they were playing. Go to college for free.
You know, while you're playing, you see Mike Krzyzewski right here. You know, you see John Calipari, Coach Few. You know, you want to do something to pull them over, bring them over to your court, and be able to showcase what you have, you know, for yourself and for your teammates. So that's the main thing about AU, is trying to get everybody to the next level.
Money time. It's money time.
Can we talk about some of the AU struggles?
How much that cost?
The toughest part about AAU, I believe, is the financial piece.
We were always on a nice little budget there at AAU.
We couldn't fly that much. It wasn't feasible. But jumping in the trucks, that was great.
Everybody had trucks, so you just load them up and drive to wherever we needed to go.
We always found a hotel that had free breakfast.
Always travel with some air mattresses. So we had about 2 air mattresses in almost every room. And
it's basically like a big sleepover.
And everybody just roomed together.
Double up on the air mattress and double up in the bed.
You ask for extra pillows and extra blankets and you make do with what you got.
But we always hoop regardless.
So loaded them in the Yukon and we took off cross country.
I remember being a young kid looking up to the league's biggest stars. That's why it's so important for me to get back to the next generation. Good, y'all straight, y'all straight? Yeah, let's hoop. So pass there, now come run behind him. Yep, and keep running down the floor. Yep, and then finish. And then we got the same thing going back.
Under Armour was popping back then. You know, you saw a lot of highlights, you saw a lot of good players come from it. Going into that was big time for me.
We're out on the circuit. You know, Jalen plays hard, goes at it nonstop, gives 100%.
There was a couple times during AU when I ended up getting hurt.
I remember one time I can recall where he had a hip pointer, went up, boom, banged the kid, started screaming.
Once that flipping switch, I don't know anything but playing hard, you know, being competitive and doing what it takes to get the win. And sometimes it's a great thing, and sometimes, you know, that comes with little injuries and stuff like that.
He's gotten some injuries, some nicks and some dings.
You know, one of the main ones was when I hurt my knee and I wasn't able to play in Steph Curry camp. The first time I got invited to it in my sophomore year. That one was probably the one that hurt me the most.
Mom comes running over, you know, her answer to everything is Advil, so she's like, hey, he needs some Advil.
Did you take some Advil?
Advil's what we use for everything. Yeah, that's what kept me, you know, nice, healthy, and strong. But it's part of the game, you know, those things happen.
Fellas. We gotta get up right now. We got a big game.
You know, we went through all of that. One, because we just wanted to play basketball. And two, it was a blessing because it made some of our best memories. Like those road trips, looking back on AU were some of the greatest times that I had. Having nothing to do, so just walking to the gas station and cracking jokes and the whole team 12 deep, playing video games, messing around with each other. Like those are some of the best memories that I have playing basketball for real.
Oh my God, big game! So you sacrifice your extended family a lot to be with your basketball family, and that really was what we call it. And all the kids, they'd been friends for a long time. Their parents were friends, we'd all hang out together. We really had a different team dynamic because of that part. It was everyone wanted the best for everyone.
Every time we dunk, it's gotta be loud, just like that.
Even though it wasn't luxurious, yeah, it'd be nice to fly everywhere. Yeah, it'd be nice to everybody get their own room. Like, we wouldn't have had and made those memories and had those close bonds like we did, you know, without it. So for that, I'm thankful.
It's an overtime wrap. It's an overtime wrap.
Right now, we're headed to Minnehaha, right on River Road, my old home, a place that means a lot to me. I went to the school in 6th grade, new to the school, new to the community. So they took me in and they welcomed me with open arms. And since then, I've gained lifelong friends. You know, I've gained friends who have turned to family, mentors, and they've been a big part of me getting to this next step in my life. So a place and a community I'm definitely grateful for.
You miss this place?
Absolutely. It's home right here. Reminisce on everything we did in this gym, from big wins, 360s, crazy plays.
Coaching here at Minnehaha has been like a dream for me, especially in the last few years, having the privilege of athletes like Jalen Suggs.
2017, my first banner.
9th grade year, we won the state tournament.
And we're back-to-back in 2018.
Sophomore year, won the state tournament.
Ran through everybody again.
Junior year, won the state tournament.
And then senior year, everywhere we went, it was sold out, packed. And like those environments were so much fun.
Down in Wisconsin when we had to sneak you guys out. All that season, gyms were packed. We had to sneak Jalen and Chet Holmgren through back doors to get them to the bus. One of the first time I realized the national impact that Jalen had.
This is the Hall of Fame. See, we got the GOAT.
I wouldn't have done it without him, that's for sure.
Oh, but you put me on JV my first year. What's going on?
In 7th grade, I put him on the JV team for the first 2 games of the season. And after the second game, it was evident to me that he needed to be on our varsity team. But what's funny is years later, he is like, why did I have to play JV? And it's like, Jalen, you played 2 games in JV before we realized we needed you on our varsity team.
These are the Gatorade Player of the Year banners, but this one's for football, this is for basketball, both in the same year.
He's got a mind for both games. You know, on the court, he's got incredible court intelligence. Having been a football quarterback, same thing. He could have played either sport.
Do you miss football?
Every day of the week. I miss football every day of the week.
We're down here at the South Campus, headed to the weight room right now in our practice field. Yeah, just come see the guys lift real quick, say what's up. Oh boy, looking big now. I love playing here. Basketball, football, all the coaches were great. It was just an amazing experience. I mean, everybody who I met that was on my team, I was always close with. We made great memories. We won a lot. Talking about a football team, we went 2 state championships, won one. Put Minnehaha on the map as an athletic school, which wasn't known as before.
Derwin James! How you doing, my guy?
Good, how are you?
Good to see you.
See you too. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good.
We got Jalen Suggs in the house today. Hey, it's exciting. Players are super excited to see him. You know, he's larger than life around here.
I was real comfortable out on the football field. I caused a lot of damage.
Friday nights, if you wanted to watch a show, come watch Jalen play football.
All gas, no breeze.
I played quarterback, I played running back, I played wide receiver.
His escapability can get outside the pocket, and then he can throw with the best of them.
Played a lot of safety, the end even. You know, I did it all.
He was able to put all that together in his own package, and it was his Jalen Suggs package.
It's a nice block from Jalen Suggs.
Before the start of games, you know, the players, the other team would just stare at him. He's so big and he's throwing passes. And some of the opposing players are asking for his autograph before the start of the game. I'm like, oh, I've never seen that before.
And the quarterback #1, Jalen Suggs.
Miss these days. You know, I think definitely ones I, for sure took for granted. Don't think anybody really likes to practice, but I think even football practice, I look forward to it. And I wish I could come back out here for another week of game prep because it was the best feeling. W-O-L-F-P-A-C-K, Wolfpack, Wolfpack, Wolfpack.
Football, my senior year, was a real fun time. Pretty much the most dominant I've felt in sports to this point.
It's a different type of camaraderie when you play football, and that is the ultimate team for him, is a football team.
But we were ready to go, and our defense was nasty, and our offense was nasty, and we hit the ground running.
A lot of his buddies there were just blue-collar, regular kids that just love playing football. And you need that to be on a good team.
But we were just dominating everybody we played.
Who can beat us?
No one.
We get to the section championship, and to this day, that section championship game against Minnehaha St. Margaret for the second year in a row is my favorite sports game I've ever played in my life.
Yeah, that's what Thanos. Hey, they gonna get Thanos thing, you feel me?
After we had blown everybody out all year, we were undefeated, and we were the underdogs, actually. We were picked by everybody to lose that game.
That was actually one of the coolest games I've ever been to.
It's packed. Everybody's there.
Minnesota winters were coming, and so it was extremely cold. It was like raining. It was terrible weather, but the game made up for it.
So we start off hot. I get a big throw to start the game to tie. We end up capping the drive off with a Sanjay. They finished the half out real strong. Then I'm going up 21-14 to end the half. So now it's like, all right, we got a game. We're going back and forth the whole second half. As the second half is going on, you see people creep onto the sidelines to the point where like midway through the third quarter, the whole sidelines is just packed with fans.
You gotta play football now.
The sidelines were crowded, the stands were packed. Vanille came down and scored, and there was barely any time left.
Peterson is sacked.
Now we got the ball, like a minute 50. We gotta make something happen. It's a low snap. I fumble it.
Okay, picks it up.
I'm going up the sidelines, I'm running. And I get tackled at like the 30 with like 50 seconds left. I see there in single man, cover zero. I'm telling the running back, pick up the blitz off the edge. I remember all this like it was yesterday.
Terry 101.
Boom, Terry runs a route, boom, boom, boom. Breaks him off in the middle, I throw it over top. I'm running, I'm lit.
Comeback by SMB.
We still got 44 seconds.
They're up 4. They get you about to 50. They had 3-man side, they running trips. So I know they're coming to the scene. They're about to run verticals.
Back to pass, steps into the pocket.
I read it, pick it off, put the ball above my head, run into the sidelines, throw it in the air, take a knee, and everybody's running on the field now.
Running on that field, had my Snapchat on, everybody's going crazy. Jalen came over, he was like, I'm that guy, I'm that guy.
I just take a knee and start crying because it was so much that had gone into that game. It's so much emotion for me in football in general, but that meant a lot to me. And to come out on top, you know, football is always something that people doubted me about, but to prove it there in one of the biggest stages so far, like that game meant a lot.
What are you feeling right now?
It means the world to me. Like I don't know what's next for me in my career. I don't know how long I'll be playing this sport, but this is one of the most special moments in my life.
So to this day, that game is my favorite sports game I've ever played in.
That's legendary. That's legendary.
We get to the state championship game. We kind of go back and forth in that one. Take a tough loss to end the game. They went on a 2-point conversion in overtime. You know, we had our chances to win it. A game that I still haven't gone back and watched. Probably will never go back and watch. It's one of those ones that you feel sick about. I ended the season. You know, we had a great year. Personally, I ended up winning Mr. Football. It wasn't how I wanted to leave football, but it wasn't a bad way because team-wise, we had a really good year, and personally, I had a great year. So, yeah, if that was my last hoorah, and I said it after the game, you know, I can't be too mad at it.
Here we go. 1 pack on 3, family on 6. 1, 2, 3. 1 pack, 4, 5, 6. Family.
Oh, thank you, dog. We're on our way to the fair right now. About to go meet up with some family, some friends, little cousins, nephews, nieces, go run around, have a good time. You know, it was different back when I used to go as a kid. You know, I used to be the one running around and winning all the basketballs and playing all the games to now where, you know, I get to just kick back, have a good time, and, you know, watch the little ones run around. So, you know, ready to get there, have a good time, eat some food, get on some rides, and just chill.
State Fair is something I look forward to every year. It's become like a yearly tradition, and it's that way for a lot of people in Minnesota.
We're at the fair right now. You know, just coming to meet up, see some family, have a good time, get some food in us for sure.
Created a lot of memories at the State Fair, and I was there every summer, to end every summer, since I could remember. To kind of eat food and ride rides and just let loose, you know, and just enjoy ourselves for a night.
Yo, Jalen Suggs, I got a picture of him.
Hey, I got you.
Jalen. There we go, Jalen.
Is he a real quarterback or no?
Pull it out. You're the quarterback? Yeah. Don't look like it.
Boy, his thing is...
You gotta get it in the star.
Boy, this thing is tilted. I bet you couldn't get it in.
I get it in all day.
Oh, you see that thing's not even right.
Okay, yeah, I'll go one more. There you go, finally.
Not only did he do basketball scholarships, football scholarships started coming in also.
There it is, I like that. I got one last thing. I got just little gifts outside for everybody. One, two, three. Yes, sir.
Jalen got his first offer in the 6th grade, and a lot of offers started coming in.
I got a lot of football offers, kind of started my freshman year. Remember Ohio State came my sophomore year, and then I remember my Georgia offer came after a practice. That was a big one for me. Remember going on my visit to Alabama, and didn't end up getting that one. Nick Saban wasn't really rocking with the both sports. He kind of wanted me to play football.
But across the country, there wasn't a Division I basketball program that wasn't calling.
I got everybody. All the kind of bigger schools, all the ones that you want to go to, I got, except for most of the blue bloods. I didn't really get the blue bloods like that, which is funny because that's what I wanted, my whole life. I was a UNC fan growing up. To never get that offer, I don't know, it was weird. And it kind of made me want to create my own path and do, what I wanted to do. Minnesota, Iowa, Florida State, Gonzaga, those are the ones that were really, heavily considered.
But if you had paid attention, he only visited one school.
Sophomore year in high school, his name came across as a potential down the road. I don't really get too fired up usually when you're talking about sophomores because I'm kind of focused on the high school seniors that are going to join you. But once I started glancing at some highlights and stuff, I'm like, whoa, this kid's got some real ability, and that's the hardest thing to coach is that feel for the game. And he actually saw those things. He said not only could he see them, but he was physically gifted enough to deliver on a lot of them. You could also tell the football influence, man. There was nothing that he backed away from whatsoever. We had an inkling that basketball was going to be his future, but I also knew after talking to him in the recruiting process just how much he loved football too.
So, when did you know?
I remember it was like a week before I was supposed to commit. And I was committing after we played Park Center on ESPN at halftime of the Sierra Canyon game.
He's like, do I play big-time collegiate football or do I play collegiate basketball?
A lot of the schools, told me that I could play both football and basketball, but, I kind of knew I didn't want to play both. I wanted to have all my focus on it once I got to that point. I didn't want nothing pulling me away from it. I didn't want nothing distracting me because once it got there, I knew that I had to put in some work to get to the next level, to the point where I could take care of my family and play at the highest level. When I went to visit my junior year, Spokane felt like home to me. The fans embraced me. The coaches became really close, almost like family to me. It felt like from what I had at Minnehaha. Welcomed me with open arms, and they gave me each and everything I needed. After that visit, it was Gonzaga or football.
Him and my dad and my mom had a lot of conversations about it.
Had a long talk.
A lot of long talks about it, and you could tell it was like taking a toll on him mentally. It was like a hard decision. That's your future.
We talked a lot about visits that he had been on, pros and cons of different schools, pros and cons of playing football over basketball. It really came down to what we thought would be the best spot for him to be successful.
I should have had to say too much. I knew y'all ready to go. I know y'all ready.
And then ultimately, I told him, I said, you know, the contracts are a lot better in basketball.
I have no doubt he could have gone to college and played football and been successful. He would still be in college, though.
Part of the reason I chose Gonzaga was because it didn't have a football team. Because if I went anywhere with a football team, I know that thought would have creeped in my head. I would have went to watch a practice, messed around, would have had pads on, and then they wouldn't have seen me awful. And I knew that opportunity that basketball gave me, I had a really high possibility of just going to school for, 8 months, playing basketball and then going to the draft. So yeah, I didn't know, like realistically, I didn't know until about a couple days before I committed. I had to go home and get my shirt because I forgot my Gonzaga shirt at home.
And he called me and he was like, Mom, do you have my shirt?
And I had to drive home, grab my shirt. They kept calling me, blowing me up, like, you gonna be back in time? Like, there's a couple minutes left, like, where you at? It was kind of like a reflection moment. Like, this is crazy. Like, I'm really about to commit. I've gone through so much just in my sports career, AAU tournaments, high school games, like all that, leading to this point now where, I'm about to decide where I'm about to go next year and, kind of move on to that next chapter. I knew it was Gonzaga, but like deep down, like I always wanted to pick football. I really wanted to play football. And I just got emotional. Like, it's like, am I making a mistake? I'm like trying to think to myself, like, am I really making the right decision? Because I know I love football. I know I can play football at the highest level. And I was crying. I don't want to give it up, but the main thing that I've always wanted to do is take care of my family, take care of the people I love. As I got there, I had all my friends and family behind me. Everybody who supported me huddled up and, crowded around me as I made the decision.
I'll be furthering my basketball and academic career at Gonzaga University.
He was still disappointed about not playing football, but he was so excited to make that his choice. It was really, I was super proud of him.
A decision that, I don't regret at all. I'm very happy I made.
Doesn't mean that wasn't easy. It was very hard. He cried for a whole week because basically that was the last time that he was ever gonna play football.
Honestly, everybody was a little shocked. Not at where he was going, because it was a little obvious, but like the fact that he chose basketball and football. Yeah. Because like if you knew him and you knew him like personally, you knew football was his everything.
Yes, after that, it was a big relief. That decision was over with. Sad as it was, I closed the book on football. Now it's time to finish the senior year off right.
Yo fam, overtime refuses to miss this year. The drops are non-stop, and we're just getting started. Get like me and cop all the fits. All you gotta do is click the link below, and make sure you stay looking out for all our drops.